Daniel chapter 2, verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. The head of gold represented the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar and his dynasty. The next kingdom that would rule over the world would be the Persian Empire. In his vision, the silver. To illustrate how the Babylonian kings had more authority and glory than the Persian kings, let's look at Daniel chapter 5 and verse 18 and 19 and compare that with Daniel chapter 6 and verse 15. Daniel chapter 5 verse 18. O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all the people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would he slew, whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. He could set up and put down whomsoever he wanted. However, by the time the Persian kings were ruling the Persian Empire, we find that the Persian king could not set up, kill, keep alive whoever he wanted. Verse 15 says, These men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Once the king puts a law in order in the books, it cannot be changed. He had less authority and dominion in his kingdom than the Babylonian kings enjoyed in their kingdom. Verse 39, And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee. That's the Persian Empire. And another kingdom and another third kingdom of brass. That's the Grecian Empire, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. What would be the fourth kingdom? Rome. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. The Roman Empire was stronger, though not more glorious, than its former kingdoms. And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. The Roman Empire was very strong, but it was broken and was bruised. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. The iron represents Rome, represents the Caesar, the city of Rome, Roman citizenship, the Roman legions. The clay represents other governments that are subservient to the Roman Empire. Governments like King Agrippa's government. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. They, the Romans, would mingle themselves with the seed of men, other nationalities. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. This is what makes the Roman Empire less strong than it would be, is that Caesar does not have absolute dominion as king over the entire world, but rules also through these lesser kings. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. In the days of these kings, what kings? In the days of the Roman Empire, God will set up a kingdom. What kingdom? God's kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. The kingdom that God set up in the days of the Roman Empire was never destroyed, is not destroyed, never will be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. The kingdom that God set up in the days of the Roman Empire stands. For as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. What is this stone cut without hands? The Lord Jesus Christ is the chief cornerstone. He is the one represented here by the stone. However, this stone grows into a great mountain. This is the kingdom that John the Revelator sees when he sees the new heaven and new earth, and he sees the new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven. This is the promise that Christ gave to the churches, that they would rule the nations with a rod of iron and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel, just as he received of his Father. This is the raptured and resurrected saints ruling the world. This kingdom began in the year 70 AD when the Lord Jesus returned, resurrected the dead saints, raptured the living saints, and established his kingdom. New Jerusalem is now ruling over the kingdoms of the world. When a person comes to Christ, they are admitted into this kingdom and enter into the kingdom and go in and out. The kings of the earth currently bring their glory into the New Jerusalem as they personally become a Christian and rule their nation under Christian principles and in the fear of God. Next, we'll be looking at Daniel chapter 7.